Hi there, welcome everyone. If you're new to me, my name is Meryl Hayton, and I'm a transformational coach, certified advanced EFT tapping practitioner, and I practice optimal EFT, and you'll experience both of those in this session today, whenever it is that you're watching this, right? And I was inspired to talk about guilt. So when I work with my clients, we usually work to reduce the stress, anxiety, fears, doubts, unwanted emotions, sadness, anger, frustration, all the things that are currently going on now. Once that is kind of reduced and and they feel a little bit better, we can go into their past and figure out the root causes of where and how they learned they needed to feel or act a certain way that wasn't serving them anymore. And bringing on all of these, current emotions and feelings. And a lot of times we do what's called inner child healing or self-compassion tapping. And that is tapping and talking about what you didn't get growing up from your parents, how maybe you were mistreated, and replacing it with ways that you can encourage yourself today and give yourself compassion for what you went through and practice forgiveness. And it's a beautiful process. And it really helps to heal wounds that you've carried from your past. It doesn't have to be your childhood. And then it helps to integrate that healed part of you into yourself today. And it creates more of a whole, grounded, confident version of you. And you're much less triggered by situations and other people today. So, what happens is some people have big T traumas. That's sexual abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, things like that. Some people have little T traumas. It could be a little bit on the mental abuse, like a critical parent, or um, it can be like you had a lot of responsibility growing up because you had a parent that was sick, or maybe your parents were divorced and you were shifted from house to house and you never really felt like you belonged somewhere. So even though I'm calling them a little T trauma, that doesn't mean that it feels little to you, right? It can still feel like a trauma. And we all have different details of those, but the feelings can be the same. And when there's little T traumas, more often, this is what I find, when there's little T traumas and we go through a healing process, people start to feel guilty. They're like, well, I know my parents did what they could. I know that they did their best. I understand where they came from, but that doesn't mean that you should ignore how you felt growing up, or you should ignore that they didn't emotionally support you. Those are just some examples. It might be different words or details for you. So you can feel guilty about lots of things, like prioritizing yourself, right? You don't want to prioritize yourself because you still need to prove that you're a good person in your relationships, or with your kids, or with your significant other, or with your friends. So you come last on the list and you feel guilty about putting yourself first, right? That's also very common behavior. And a lot of times that comes from your upbringing, right? If you felt like a parent wasn't there for you, there might be a part of you that continues to prove that you're good enough to receive validation, attention, love, etc. Right? And then that pattern is carried through all of your relationships. And then you're 40 or 50 or 60 something, and you're like, why am I so frustrated in my relationships? Why am I not happy with my relationships? Why do I have disconnected relationships with people? Right? Or maybe feel disconnected with yourself. So that's just a little intro to where this all kind of came together for me. So we're going to work on releasing guilt so that you have a clearer path to more happiness, more inner peace, being able to really stand in your values and your beliefs and your worth and create healthier boundaries so that you really feel more than enough. And you end up having happier, healthier relationships because you are really honoring your needs and honoring your values and beliefs. And you end up, because of your increased confidence, right? You just allow in more abundance, more opportunities. It can help you in your business. It can help you in your relationships. It can help you follow more of your purpose and your passion, right? So let's dive in, right? So I want you to close your eyes, and hopefully you have like a journal or a piece of paper with you, and some water. And so if you don't, pause the video and come back to it. So I want you to close your eyes and think of a situation where you are you might be settling or frustrated or something, and there's this guilt that you recognize is attached to it. I can't put myself first. What are other people going to think of me? Right? And when you think of this situation, try to come up with one situation, if you can, that's currently going on in your life now. Because you want to start with what's going on presently. And when you think of, I'm feeling guilty, at what number? 0, none, and 10, crazy guilty. Where do you land? First number that comes in. Because you want to create a baseline. All right, and we are going to just get right in doing some EFT tapping. So if you're completely new to it, just follow along. All right, I'm going to tap on the side of my hand right here, top of my head. All right, so not the front and not the back, but towards the back, just a little bit of the top of the head, right in between where the hairline of the eyebrows start. So not above the eyebrows, right in between. Corners of the eyes, underneath the eyes, under the nose, under the lip on the chin, under the collarbone, and under the armpit next to your chest. So just follow along, and we're going to say some words and phrases, and whatever doesn't seem right, just change it and make it your own. So even though I'm feeling all this guilt, and you'll repeat that, I'm choosing to honor how I feel. And even though I'm feeling all this guilt, I'm acknowledging I feel this way. And even though I'm feeling all this guilt, I'm open to the possibility of reducing it or trusting myself, following my heart, following my intuition. You can say whatever feels right to you here, but what is your goal in this story here, in this situation? What's your goal? Right? Again, if you have to pause, pause, and then come back, right? Top of the head, all this guilt. In between the eyebrows, all this guilt. And outside the corners of the eyes, I'm feeling guilty. Underneath the eyes, all this guilt. And under the nose, I'm feeling guilty. On the chin, all this guilt. And under the collarbone, feeling guilty. And then under the arm, you can do both sides if you want. You can reach this way, it doesn't matter. I tend to just do one side, doesn't matter which side. All this guilt. All right, pause. Reflect on, how did that feel to just tap and say it? Take a deep breath in through your nose and out your mouth. Tapping may make you feel tingly, swirling of energy. It could make you yawn. It could make you feel tired. All of it is a healing process, and it's all fine. It will pass. You definitely want to stay hydrated with water or, and or herbal tea whenever you're doing any energy work. So you'll check in. Did that make me feel the same? Did it make me feel a little better just saying it? And see where you're at with the number that you started with. Because you always want to be testing back to it. So we don't have to go back to the side of the hand because we did the setup the 3 times so that your subconscious knows exactly what you're talking about and working on, right? So we can go back to the top of the head. But I want to ask you, when you were processing this and thinking about this situation, does something physical come up in your body? Do you feel like, like a closing off or a tightness maybe in your chest or your jaw or your throat? Is there a gripping or a clenching happening somewhere? Do you feel something in your belly? Common areas are the solar plexus, which is the top of the belly right underneath your chest. And it's common to feel something maybe in your heart space or your throat, right? Because the throat would be the way you express yourself. So if you feel like you're holding back expressing yourself because of the guilt, you may feel something, a sensation of some sort here. If it brings on some sadness, you may be feeling it in your chest or your heart. If it's connected to, oh, I don't really feel like I deserve to do what I want to do, and I'm feeling really guilty about it, right? That could have to do with your power center, the 3rd chakra, which is all about your confidence and like your get up and go drive and willpower. So it's just noticing. And if you have any pains in your body, I'm going to add this little exercise in for you. So I just want you to clap your hands. Just clap your hands. And you're probably like, why is she asking me to do that? Right? So I tend to be like, hold my hand more still with my right hand and move my left hand. Some people completely do this, which is fine. And that's for another story, but because I don't remember exactly what to do when it's that way. But if you are dominant moving with the left hand or the right hand, right, it means something to your body on the emotional scale. It's like a test. So for me, I'm right hand dominant, and I happen to move my left hand when I clap. So anything on the left side of my body is everyone else in my life. Like it could be a significant other, cousins, friends, colleagues, the person at the grocery store, right? Anybody else. And then the right side of me is anything that has to do with my mom. And I don't have children, but anyone that might even seem like a child to me. So it could be a nephew or a niece, or it could be someone I'm babysitting or something, right? And that could be seems like a child, and it could be someone who seems like a mother figure to you. So for example, if your aunt brought you up and she really seemed like a mother figure for you, but you had an emotional issue or situation with her, you could be experiencing something on the mother-child side, even though it's your aunt, right? So I know this is getting into very intricate detail, but that's who I am, and that's why I do what I do, because I'm helping you to unravel patterns. And there's lots of details and messages that our bodies give us to help us to unravel these. So if this just confused you, don't worry about it. You can reach out to me and ask for some help or advice on it. But yeah, so if you were left hand dominant, kind of holding your left hand and moving more of your right hand, right, then the left side of your body would be mother child, and the right side of your body would be everybody else. All right. So if you have a pain or any discomfort or something on one side of your body, and you do the clapping thing and you figure out which side is who, then it could be, right? So for me, right, I'm left-handed clapping. So if I had a pain on the right side of me and I was working on something emotional, it could have to do with my mother, right? And it's possible that it's something that's not currently happening with your mom, but it could be connected from your past. Okay? So that was a lot of a sidebar, but I just felt called to share it. And again, if you want more information on that, just reach out to me. So let's just set up once, even though I'm still feeling guilty, and I notice that I have something in my body physically. You may not, but if you do, add it in. And you don't have to worry about which side in the clapping thing right now. You don't have to worry about that now. And I'm just choosing to acknowledge I feel this way. And then we'll go back to the top of the head. All this guilt, and if you notice it in your body, like this guilt in my belly, in between the eyebrows, this guilt, maybe it's in your throat, outside the eyes. Maybe it's this clenching guilt in your throat. Describe how it feels underneath the eyes. Maybe it's this gut reaction of guilt, right? Under the nose. Sometimes we bring in, if your physical feeling was weather, like rain, tornado, cyclone on the chin, what would it be like? A block of ice. I've gotten that. I've heard that before. Under the collarbone here. So all this guilt in and it feels like, fill in the blanks, under the arm. So if it's this cyclone of guilt in your belly, because it just feels like this churning, then that's what you would say. My belly has this cyclone of guilt in it. Top of the head. My belly has this cyclone of guilt in it, in between the eyebrows. Or my throat has this tight guilt in it, outside the eyes. Maybe it's in your shoulders, like this tension in my shoulders, this guilty tension in my shoulders, under the eyes. So just keep repeating whatever your phrase is. Under the nose, same thing. All this guilt in on the chin. Or maybe you start with the body part first. My blank feels all this guilt. And under the collarbone. All this guilt in my blank. And under the arm. Same thing, just repeating it. All right, deep breath in. And out. And then again, close your eyes. Notice, how does it make you feel? All right, are you feeling better? Is it maybe dredging up something from your past? Write it down. Keep notes on it. because those are events and situations that need addressing, that need your attention. So if you are about halfway down, then we can go on to the next phase into a meditation. But if you're not quite halfway from where you were, then I would continue to do more tapping. Just keep repeating what we were doing, right? Just do another few rounds, and see where you go with it. And if some of the sensations or feelings change, just keep going with it. Keep adding that in. Because if you're still, like, say you started at an 8 and you're only at a 6, that's great. But I don't know that you're ready to settle and really receive a meditation. But that's up to you. You might be, right? I'd love for you to get down closer to a 4 before you go into the meditation part that I'm going to do now. So if you're ready for this, you can close your eyes, and I'm going to guide you through. So in this practice, it's called optimal EFT. It is using a higher power called the unseen therapist, but you can use whoever you want. Your spirit guides, angels, the universe, Holy Spirit, God, it doesn't matter. And you are sending this guilt just on this one situation that you're working on to your higher power in a box, writing it on a piece of paper, just as a mental shift. It doesn't matter how you send it. Just send it, and your help illuminate for me. Just asking for resolution, right? Help illuminate for me in easy and gentle ways how to resolve this, right? Help me surrender how to resolve it, and help me embody with ease and grace ways to resolve this guilt. And you can add in your own words here, doesn't matter. And now I'd like you to come to a loving moment, a happy moment. Something like, for me, it's like when I'm snuggling with my cat, and that brings in like such just a warm and loving, sweet feeling. And that is a very high vibration. So we want you to be able to be in a very high vibration feeling. So try to anchor into something like that. And if you can't, don't worry about it. Really. It's not like this won't work without it, but if you can't, that's okay. Everybody is at their own place, in self-development. You can always imagine yourself like standing in like a room with like kittens or puppies or something, and it's so cute, like that kind of a feeling, like that high vibe kind of feeling is what we're looking for. It could be you sitting at your happy place. It doesn't matter. So connecting to that, and we're bringing in some green, heart chakra, green, loving energy. It's like an emerald green. And I'm also channeling in some Reiki energy here and infusing this into this session. If you have any thoughts of the situation we're working on, or anything else, or the guilty thoughts coming in, Just keep surrendering it. Surrender it up and come back to being in the green energy and maybe this loving moment. I will keep guiding you, so don't worry. Keep sending any other thoughts to your higher power, the unseen therapist, and letting go of how to figure out how to let go of the guilt. Just keep surrendering it. And then coming back to the green energy and the loving, happy moment. Imagine that your whole body is filled with this green energy. From your head all the way down to your toes. It's in and out of your spine, all of your muscles, soft tissue, down to the deepest part of your cells. You're like vibrating this green energy. Let it expand as big as you can. It comes outside your body, fills up your dwelling of where you're at, keeps growing out of the state, out of the country, filling up the sky, the universe, the whole world. And now imagine like your heart was a vacuum and you're just kind of bringing all of that green energy back in. Take your time, but it comes back into your heart space. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, right? Take a deep breath in and out. Take a sip of water. And then write in your journal, like, how do you feel now? I still feel guilty at what number. You may not. Um, the key is to keep testing back to just this situation on how guilty you feel tomorrow, a week from now. Because if it pops back up, then it needs more work. And, write down Any thoughts or any visions or any other events, anything that came up during this? Any shifts physically that maybe you felt? And of course, I'd love to know how you're feeling now and how this helped you. Um, I'm on a mission to make a huge impact to help people really feel better about themselves and stand in their power so they have happier, healthier relationships with themselves and others and more joy in their life and really be able to hear their gut and their instincts and follow it. Not just hear it and ignore it, but hear it and follow it. Really trust themselves, love themselves, feel confident about themselves. So if this is something that you loved, I would love to, hear feedback about it. If you want me to do another video on a different subject that I haven't done yet, if you look through my, YouTube feed and, you haven't seen something that you're looking for, let me know. I'm happy to do another video on it. If you're not on my email list, you can go to merylhayton.com and subscribe there. You will get a 7-day free tapping series. And then I do send out 2 emails a month with inspirational videos like this. And there's lots of ways to work with me, from one-to-one to group monthly memberships to in-person programs in New Jersey. So if you're looking for more help, looking to really unravel and get rid of your stress and anxiety, let me know. I'd be happy to help you rewire it to a fresh, new, happy, vibrant vibe, right? So that's all I have for now for you. And there is a lot more to how I can help you with the guilt. There are other steps. I have a program called the Emotional Clearing Method, and these were just the first few steps. And there are a few more steps that will really help you to anchor into your goals with the right attitude, the right vibe, the right energy, and all that, so that you get to your goals much faster. So signing off for now, and I'll hope to see you soon. Bye.